Before we close, I'm just going to exercise Chair's prerogative to make a comment or two. This is, as everybody knows, a controversial and challenging project, and like any other major infrastructure project, there are moments of triumph and moments of setback. But at today's board meeting, what you saw is an organization that's moving forward with the next construction package to complete the development of the spine of high-speed rail in the Central Valley. You see that we are continuing to attract top talent for our own staff. The organization under Mr. Morales' leadership becomes ever stronger, and I think gives us confidence in the ability of this organization to deliver these projects. And contrary to what people might see or read, the high-speed rail program is moving forward in this state. We do have these challenges, and there was some public comment this morning about whether or not we're complying with the law and the will of the voters and so forth. And I can tell you, sitting here both as chair but also working with these men and women as colleagues, that everything that we have done since I've been on this body and everything that we do is to further the purposes of the Bond Act and the law and the will of the voters to build a complete modern high-speed rail system. And in fact, I challenge anybody to point to a single decision that we've made that is contrary to the purposes of Proposition 1A or what we're trying to build. What we've determined is that we need to do this in phases as a practical matter. That approach certainly received the affirmation of the federal auditors at the Government Accountability Office, who came in and looked at that and said that that was the best way to deal with the risks and uncertainties of funding. And I have to also say that I take note of the fact that sometimes people who criticize this project and say that somehow we're not following the law would propose solutions. I'm thinking of counsel for one of our adversaries, who would say, well, build it up the I-5 or do other things that, in fact, on their face violate the law and the intent of the law. So I feel very comfortable that while this board, I think, is open to any type of public criticism and suggestions and so forth, that what we're doing is we're moving forward in a deliberative process and a deliberative way to actually build this project. And finally, there was one comment made about the desire of the public that this process be transparent. And that's certainly an appropriate comment. We're talking about building a project that's going to cost billions of dollars of either taxpayer money, bondholder money, or private sector money that we would be the stewards for. And of course, that process needs to be open and transparent. I think if you stand back and look at what's occurred over the last several years, our process of developing a business plan, developing a funding plan, these were all the subject of extensive open public hearings, public discussions, and debate. I think that there cannot really be any reasonable person who is not aware of the decisions that we made or the issues that we presented to the California legislature, which had its own extensive and detailed look at this project and the direction that we were taking. And many of the questions, whether they've been before the court or before the public, were in fact addressed by the legislature in their processes. So transparency is absolutely essential. Last month, we made the decision based on a request from the Assembly Transportation Committee Chair that our Finance and Audit Committee meetings be open for public observation, and we've done that. Last month, we had the presentation by our staff of the system of reports and metrics that this organization is going to use as we go forward. I challenge any other public agency to show that they have a more extensive system of that type of reporting information, and if they do, we'll match it. So I just want to sit here and say that it's my sense, and I believe that I speak for my colleagues on this, that what we are doing is very much faithful to what the public asked us to do, and that, frankly, we live in a time and place where there's going to be opposition, and I understand that opposition. and it's rational. If this project were coming through my backyard, I might have objections to it as well. But I think that what we're trying to do here is something that is for the greater good, and I know there's a lot of confidence on the part of this board that we're proceeding in a fashion that's consistent with the public interest. So I apologize for taking a moment. That's what happens when we finish early on the agenda. But I do think that a lot of these comments have started to take some hold in the public, and I just think it's incumbent on us to stand up and say, no, what we're doing is exactly what the public asked us to do when they enacted Proposition 1A. And under the leadership of a governor who I think has a lot of vision and a lot of guts, we are going to deliver this project for the people of California. So thank you for indulging me on that.